Hey everyone, Austin here with The Real Seal, back again asking the question, is there such a thing as normal foundation cracks? No way, Jose. There's a reason that cracks form in concrete, and it's something that you always want to be aware of and know how to fix so that it does not cause a bigger problem down the road. Now, when we're talking about foundation cracks, we're really talking about waterproofing cracks for structural cracks. Waterproofing cracks can happen because of initial shrinkage in the concrete when it dries, initial settlement in the home as it just finds its place in the dirt, and stress points. These kind of cracks don't tend to always pose a massive structural solution or issue, but instead a waterproofing issue, because water can always come in and flood your basement. The shrinkage cracks happen everywhere from the corners to the middle of the wall and tend to be less than 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch thick. And these cracks are small enough where they're uniform the whole way up and down, and you can tell there hasn't been any major movement. The initial settlement cracks are usually in the corners because that's where the big stress points happen in that foundation. And you can see those mostly as those hairline cracks that happen and have maybe a little bit of stainage when water comes through them. And then you have your stress points like the bottom of your window wells, your I-beam, or anywhere that there might be additional stress on your foundation. And initially these cracks will form, but may not be indicative of a massive structural problem, but something that you'd like to get taken care of. Fixing these cracks, we tend to use epoxy injection. And that's where we inject a 2-part non-expanding epoxy into the crack to fill that whole void and stop any water from being able to come through. As always, with a lifetime warranty. Moving over to our structural cracks, well, we have a little bit bigger of an issue here with these. Ongoing settlement can be quite an issue, and if you have poor soil conditions or poor drainage around your home, you can have these settlement issues. More often, you'll see these cracks as larger than 1/4 of an eighth and 1/4 of an inch, and you'll see them a lot of times bigger at the top than they are at the bottom, or bigger at the bottom than they are at the top. This signifies the wall is actually sinking away from the home and is something that needs to be addressed immediately in order to stop that settlement from tearing apart the home. Hydrostatic pressure is also another big issue. A lot of times in bowing and tipping walls, you have the hydrostatic pressure which is basically water building up on the outside of the house causing pressure. With these, you'll mainly see these horizontal cracks against your foundation or in the brickwork above. Also, if you have a block foundation, you can see stair-step cracks coming up from the bottom of the foundation from the corner towards the middle of the wall. Say most of the wall is finished and you see 2 cracks that are diagonal coming up towards the middle of the wall, there's a good chance that wall is moving inwards. And how we fix those is from carbon fiber. We use Fortress carbon fiber in order to stop those walls from moving and put a lifetime warranty on any further inward movement. The carbon fiber attaches to the foundation via epoxy to the top of the foundation and the sill plate, which is the wood on top of the foundation, via a bracket, and into the footing of the foundation, which the foundation sits on, via another carbon fiber bracket. This holds the whole wall together and stops it from moving inwards. For the settlement foundation cracks, we use the push and helical piers in order to give that foundation the support from underneath that it needs so that it stops falling over. Frost heave is another issue, and this is usually when you have a really shallow foundation. And if you have a shallow foundation, you're going to have a lot of troubles with this, especially up here. Not all foundations in the Chicagoland area have the necessary 4-foot frost wall, especially if they were built back in the day when that code wasn't enforced or even present. When you run across these situations, you may be in for some more extensive solutions, but the best thing you can possibly do right now is to get all of the water away from your home with gutter extensions, French drains, and drain tile to reduce the impact of that frost heave when it gets cold and that water freezes and pushes in on your foundation or lifts it up. If you have any questions about foundation cracks, how they're formed or how we can fix them, many of the times with a lifetime transferable warranty, we'd be happy to help. Just give us a call at Real Seal, where not everything's better when wet.